Good evening again, folks. All right, so let's continue with the Kratz roasting. Ken Kratz roasting on an open fire. So, all right, let's continue, shall we? Attorney Kratz wrote in his post-hearing brief that at the time of the events in question, he suffered from the combination of sexually compulsive disorder and prescription drug dependence, conditions for which he has sought treatment. He also claimed that he wanted to settle the case early in the disciplinary process, but the OLR refused to do so, in part because it is apparently more concerned with, and this is quoting him, it is apparently more concerned with how they look in the zealous pursuit of an attorney pelt rather than what result should be reached. Kind of like you were more concerned with nailing Stephen Avery's ass to the wall than in actually conducting a proper investigation, huh, Kratz? My God, man! You are such a self-serving pig, Wilbur! Fucking shit! The referee wrote that at the time of the respondent's self-report, the cat was already out of the bag, so to speak. The domestic violence victim had gone to the police had contacted the Wisconsin Department of Justice, and that agency urged the respondent to self-report to the OLR. The referee found that these circumstances significantly undercut any claim of virtuousness by self-reporting. See, people, Kratz is trying to make it seem like he's a little fucking saint. Well, I self-reported. Doesn't that count for anything? No, it doesn't, because you weren't going to self-report. You only self-reported after the DOJ fucking climbed up your ass. Which I'm sure you enjoyed. He states that he has been diagnosed with and sought treatment for narcissistic personality disorder. Are you fucking retarded, Kratz? Okay, people understand this. Narcissistic personality disorder is a personality disorder. It is not a condition. It's not a disease. It's not something that you take a few pills for, you do a little bit of therapy, and then you're good. It is a lifelong struggle. It is something that you have got to fight every single day. You have to do therapy. You have to be put on a proper medication regimen. You have to keep jockeying around that regimen. And you have to go to cognitive therapy to do so. It's not something that you just get treatment for it and then you're done. It's something that you continuously receive treatment for the rest of your fucking life, Kratz. God, how stupid do you think people are? You fucking cocky bitch. He claims he also has sexual addiction, and he was abusing the sleeping aid Ambien, the painkiller Vicodin, and the anti-anxiety drug Xanax at the time of the misconduct. See, again, this is him blaming his conduct on everything else. And when he can't blame it on another person, he blames it on a condition, or he blames it on an addiction, or he blames it on blah, blah, blah. It's not my fault. Blah. Fuck you. Ugh. Ugh. He is the single most slimy piece of shit on the planet, folks. The domestic violence victim stated that if she feared that if she failed to respond to him, he might take action in her domestic abuse case that could potentially adversely affect her. This was exploitative behavior, harassing behavior, and a crass placement of his personal interests above those of his client, the state of Wisconsin. Yeah, and guess what, state of Wisconsin? Behavior like that is not a one-time thing. As we've already seen, Kratz already has sexually harassed or fucked with 5 different women. Okay? This is a pattern. Meaning, it's going to keep happening. And if he's done that, he has done other shit. Believe me. You heard it here first, folks. In short, whatever his qualities and accomplishments as a lawyer, Attorney Kratz proved himself during the period in question to be sanctionably sophomoric. I love that they fucking said that in an actual report. You know what that means, Kratz? It means everybody sees you for the immature little fuckstick that you are. Attorney Kratz has rationalized his poor behavior by confessing to various addictions, to Ambien, to Vicodin, to Xanax, and to sex, though he fails to point to either medical records or expert medical testimony that would explain the exact nature and severity of his conditions, or how they may have affected his ability to conform his behavior to ethical rules. Do you know what that means, folks? That means that he did not produce medical record 1 to prove that he has narcissistic personality disorder, that he didn't produce medical record 1 that he was addicted to any of these drugs, or that he has an addiction to sex. Nothing. He produced nothing. No medical records and no fucking testimony from a doctor. He's just pulling shit out of his ass to make him look okay, and the OLR allowed him to get away with this. I bet that if he was not on with his ass in a sling on the Stephen Avery case, they would have disbarred him. I'm just saying. In his untimely objection, Attorney Kratz insists he should pay no cost whatsoever. Aww. Having a problem finding 2 pennies to rub together there, Mr. Kratz? Good. You deserve it, you prick. It gets even better, folks. I had to wade through this whole thing. He stated that he had no recollection of making vulgar remarks to one of the social workers and would prefer not to admit to something I do not recall, and he denied that any one-time crude remarks could constitute harassment. You're a special kind of stupid, isn't you, Mr. Kratz? Can't constitute harassment? You clearly are not even aware what the fucking actual legal definition of sexual harassment is, you schmuck. We note that with his request for an over 5-month credit against his proposed 6-month suspension, Attorney Kratz was proposing that he receive a net suspension of about 3 weeks. Yeah, he tried to jockey around the sentencing on this to only get his license actually suspended for 3 weeks total. You want to know why he did that, folks? He did that because he knew that a 4-month suspension would not only severely cut into his ability to earn any goddamn money, but it would make him look better. Oh yeah, well, it wasn't that serious. They only suspended my license for 3 weeks. You slimy little fucking self-slut. Oh my God. I bet you look in the mirror in the morning and think to yourself, yes, I would completely shag me. Attorney Kratz has employed a tooth and nail litigation approach. He denied all misconduct in his answer to the OLR's complaint and raised various constitutional, jurisdictional, and procedural defenses. He accused the OLR of operating under a conflict of interest and of unethically leaking information. Ha! You did the same thing in the Stephen Avery case. And if you did the same thing in the Stephen Avery case, I'm willing to bet that you've done it in others, you fucking piece of shit. It sucks to have your own tactics used against you, don't it? He moved to dismiss the OLR's complaint on 9 separate grounds. The referee later rejected the motion as replete with bare assertions of fact, which were not properly before the referee and may not be considered. He engaged in vigorous discovery practice, including propounding over 125 interrogatories, filing discovery motions, and attempting to compel the production of documents from third parties. Basically, he drove up the costs of this for himself, and then he wanted to piss and moan because he had to pay for it. He raised arguments that ranged from the incredible, i.e. disputing his text messages to the domestic violence victim, and that he disputed that they contained sexual overtones, to the hyper-technical, claiming the OLR complaint was barred by the civil doctrine of issue and claim preclusion because an OLR investigator initially declined to forward the domestic violence victim's grievance for formal investigation, to the inconsistent, denying any recollection of making inappropriate comments, but claiming credit for having recognized their inappropriateness and apologizing, to the puzzling, arguing that he could not have told the other social worker that a reporter had big, beautiful breasts because the reporter in question was beautiful but not large-breasted. How does he still have a license, Wisconsin? The fuck is wrong with you? But this is where it gets really juicy, folks. Get this shit. I know that most of you have read this part. I know you have. But I feel the need to read it out loud for the rest of the class. Y'all might want to get out your notebooks for this one. Sorry, it's a few pages in. Here we are. From all appearances, OLR was determined to make up for dropping the ball. It selected as outside counsel Thomas Basting, who filed 11 charges against Attorney Kratz. In one of these charges, OLR essentially accused Attorney Kratz of sexual assault. And I quote, after various phone conversations, Kratz asked, we'll just read her as JW, asked to visit JW at her apartment. JW asserts that Kratz arrived at her apartment and after threatening JW, forced her to have sex. On September 28th, 2010, JW provided the information about Kratz to a probation officer at the Department of Corrections. The Department of Corrections reported the issue to the DOJ. You fuckers knew in 2010, and you didn't prosecute? The DOJ interviewed JW, who provided a statement. The statement JW provided alleges that Kratz, while district attorney of Calumet County, had forcible sex with an emotionally vulnerable woman after previously prosecuting the woman. And this is Kratz's defense here, folks. In filing this sensational charge pertaining to alleged sexual assault, OLR not only discredited Attorney Kratz, but also implicitly criticized the DOJ and local law enforcement authorities for failing to prosecute him. It later quietly dismissed the charge. He raped a woman! Kratz! You disgusting, slimy pig! And he's not in jail. How does he not have the same sentence that Stephen Avery started serving in 1985? He actually did it. He did it. And you know what? This bullshit of the OLR and the DOJ dismissing the charges, this is exactly why rape victims do not come forward. This needs to be looked into. And Supreme Court, federal fucking Supreme Court, if you don't do something about this, you're fucking worthless. I would happily take a communistic regime over this shit. Attorney Kratz was forced to resign as Calumet County District Attorney. Aww, boo-boo face. He went through a divorce. He lost his home and his car. He was sued by the domestic violence victim in the United States District Court and settled the lawsuit. He filed for bankruptcy. It is unlikely that Attorney Kratz is in any position to pay $23,000 in court costs. Oh, pobrecito. Mi güeyito. You fucking retard. You deserve it. You deserve it. You better fucking pay that $23,000 back. And while you're at it, you owe me $5,000 just for dealing with your ass. Jesus. OLR appears to be unwilling or unable to drop charges it has filed unless it acknowledges that the charges cannot be proved. Folks, this entire 40-page document is a portrait of the slimy, disgusting, corrupt, just overall herpes-riddled justice system in the state of Wisconsin. The man raped a woman. He raped her. He raped her. And he's not only not in prison, he is practicing law. How in the fuck did the DOJ, how did the OLR allow this and do nothing? I'm sorry, but a 4-month suspension and $23,000 in fines is not sufficient for a rape and sexual harassment of 4 other women. It's not. Wisconsin State Supreme Court, I'm calling you out. You better fix this shit. And Kratz, I'm coming for you, you tubby little butterball of doom. You better believe you are in my crosshairs. I will make it my personal mission to get you disbarred. Thank you all very much for watching. I will leave the link for this in the description below. We'll see you soon.